So Claude Opus 5 and GPT 5.6 just rolled out a few days ago, and this is the perfect opportunity to run a new model bake-off comparing these two with Fable 5. And this time around, we are going to test them on a different workflow. This time around, I'm going to have a working application running locally, and I'm going to ask each of these models to generate a Lovable copycat of this application. So I'm going to ask these models to actually scan through the existing code base running locally and to then call out Lovable's MCP to generate a Lovable prototype that should be as close as possible to the existing application. So for this, I will use the Excalidraw application, which is open source and that I very much often like to use for this demonstration. And let's now dive in. Right, so to run these evaluations, I'm going to use Claude Code Desktop, obviously. So I have actually two sessions that are prepped up with Fable 5 set to medium efforts, as well as another one with Opus 5 set as medium effort as well. I have on each of these two sessions basically the code from Excalidraw that is up and running. So for instance here, it should be basically running. I think it's on port 3001. Just so you see what the app does look like. So that's basically the Excalidraw app that I was using to show you the workflow here. So the code from Excalidraw has been imported inside these two like dedicated project basically. And I have also another project that will be dedicated to testing out GPT 5.6. And as you can see here, I do have access to 5.6 medium efforts. And for each of these three projects with their corresponding Claude Code sessions, I have set the bypass permission mode so that we just let it work without any input from ourselves. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's use actually a ready-to-use prompt that I give to my Claude Code 4 PM bootcamp students who are able to basically directly reuse the design replication prompts that I have here. And I'm simply going to launch it for these three sessions here. Okay, so let's start with Opus 5 here. Let's generate a Lovable prototype of the Excalidraw Canva using these prompts. Okay, so I'm going to launch it. I'm going to do the same here. Let's build a Lovable prototype of the existing Excalidraw Canva using this prompt. Right, let's see if everything is doing good here. Okay, perfect. And let's do this again. Let's build a Lovable prototype of the existing Excalidraw Canva using this prompt. Right. So these three prompts were just launched here. So it's going to take a while because that's, as you may guess, a very complex task. So it's going to start by actually fetching the design system, then scanning the UI to just make sure that it breaks down all the features from the UX, and then come up with a font strategy and then build it out ultimately inside Lovable. So as you can see here, I'm asked to confirm the replication targets. So obviously this is the main Canva, so that's what we want. And obviously you can compare it against localhost 3000, no worries. Let's see if Fable 5 is actually asking me about additional questions. I think it's properly understood the task, or at least it interpreted it. And what about GPT 5.6? It seems also that it understood perfectly that the source, the target is the root Canva here. So yeah, let's wait and see what each of these models come up with. All right, so Opus 5 was the last to finish the task. Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 take a few less time. So Fable 5, 15 minutes, 18 minutes for GPT 5.6, and 23 for Opus 5. First, like impressions from what I've seen, I feel like Opus 5 is much more stubborn in the sense that it actually kept iterating after like comparing the outputs, the first outputs basically inside Lovable, and the actual app running locally. So it took actually more time basically to iterate over the results. So we'll see if that yields better results. But in all cases, this model seems to, from what this very example, this model shows that it can be properly applied to complex tasks for which you don't honestly demanding in terms of response time, but you need to make sure that the result is reliant, basically. All right, so let's just open it up here. So let's open up the editor and let's actually recall it. I already recalled the other project, but I want to recall it with the name of the model that we use. So here, that was Opus 5, Excalidraw. And let's see and compare the results. So, okay, so let's open up in another window here. And let's open up the preview. All right, so here's Opus 5. Let's, yeah, maybe let's actually open up the localhost version here as well. Oh yeah, that's not this one, sorry, that's localhost 3001. Okay, so all of these are here, but that's okay because I'm actually going to compare it with this one here and see what we got. So if we have a look at maybe a blank page, yeah, let's open up a blank page. What we see is that by default it came up with the logo, which is not exactly the same logo and which actually does not exist, right? We do have those 4 buttons by default that are also available here. These do not work, by the way. What we can see if we zoom in a bit, I don't know if we can zoom in here. Oh yeah, no, we are in Lovable, so we can't like really zoom in here. What we can see is that the font family that was used is quite different from the one that is actually being used inside Excalidraw. So yeah, this is something that is a bit disappointing. In terms of the various like design components here, I feel like the shapes that we see in that control panel, they kind of resemble and they kind of are, yeah, they are quite faithful actually to what we have in the production version. Here we see that we have an overlap that could be very easily fixed, but what we can see in all cases is that we do have most of the features in terms of formatting that Excalidraw does offer. Maybe we are missing a few of those, but overall it's actually quite faithful, and we can indeed generate the shape, even though the shapes seems to be a bit different. As you can see, the size of the stroke, at least the size by default, is a bit different, and we see that we have more angles here than for the default basically shape that Excalidraw does offer. And besides that, can we click on the button here? So yeah, we do have access to the menu here, this one, even though we have less items than the source of truth. And here we can click on the more tools here button. Okay, so I would say that overall it's fairly faithful, but in terms of like UX and specifically like the features that it does offer, it's still a bit lagging behind. For instance, we cannot add text here. Can we draw? Oh yeah, we can draw here. Can we insert an image? We can't. Okay, so let's see what the others do, how the others fare, but let's just like give a first evaluation here. So in terms of design system fidelity, I'm going to say 7 out of 10, simply because I feel the components are quite faithful, but the font family is quite off. And in terms of UX fidelity, I'll also keep 7 out of 10 because we do have access to these control panels here and these buttons, but some major features are not accessible. And also I feel like the shapes do bear the same ID, basically around like these approximates, like showing approximate shapes, but they are quite different from the actual ones that are offered by default here. But anyways, let's move on to the next one. Oh, I just want to check, and yeah, and something also that is missing here is that once we have created the shape, we actually cannot like, we can click on it, no worries. Okay, so it's, yeah, let's give it a 7 out of 10 here, no problem. So what are the others? So I already renamed the other one. So GPT 5.6, let's see what it came up with. So GPT 5.6, I feel like the font family is quite closer to the one that is available on production here. So that's good. The shapes here, well, I feel that they were better designed inside the Opus 5 project. And here what we can do is that we can add the shape, but we don't have the control panel on the left, so we cannot basically change the color, add a background, etc. We cannot add any text either. Can we draw? So yeah, we can add a line, and can we do something here? Yeah, we can. And if we click on that drop-down menu here, we do have most of the pages here, so that's good. And here we do have the drop-down menu, even though there's like an offset that is, that looks quite off, because normally it should be displayed right below. All right, so it's honestly a worse version than Opus 5.1. So I'm going to put, in terms of design system fidelity, I think it's still fine. So I'm going to put it a 6 out of 10. But in terms of UX fidelity, I feel like some major features are actually missing out. And now let's have a look at Fable 5. So let's get back here and let's open up the Fable 5 project here. So we see that we do have, like, for Opus 5, this text by default, which is not really faithful, but I mean, that's overall quite fine. I feel like the shapes are good. So just like for Opus 5, we do have like shapes here in the control panel that do resemble very much to the production version, basically. What about the drop-down menu? The drop-down menu is actually much more faithful than the Opus 5.1, and we can actually change the canvas background. Can we put it to dark mode? No, it doesn't work though. The More Tools panel is not existent, just like for Opus 5. And let's see what happens. So when we actually add a shape here, we do have access to all of these features as well, which is actually quite good, honestly. And I feel like the shapes resemble a little bit better to the one that we actually have in production. I'm not sure the opacity feature does work though. Can we add some text? We cannot. Can we insert a page? We cannot either. We can add, so we can draw basically. Okay. So honestly, this very much looks like the Opus 5 version. I mean, from a first and quick look, basically. So I'm going to say that it's slightly more faithful than Opus 5 in terms of design system, simply because I feel like the shapes are better rendered in the Canva as compared to the Opus 5 version. But besides that, in terms of UX, I think we are quite on par here. So for Fable 5, I'm going to put it a 7. Let's put it a 8 out of 10. And regarding UX fidelity, I think for me, it's very much on par, basically, with Opus 5, okay? All right, so what it tells us is that Fable 5 was, again, the better performer. The output is better and was provided faster. That being said, what Opus 5 came up with was honestly quite good, even though it took a bit more time. Obviously, what we got from GPT 5.6 was fine, but from at least what we can see inside this specific example, it's still, it's lagging behind. So yeah, really curious to know what you think about this models bake-off. Please tell me if you have more insights as to how GPT 5.6 do fare as compared to those Anthropic models. Curious to know if you've tested them on other different topics, different use cases. For instance, for content generation, I don't know, like marketing tasks, backend tasks, for instance, whatever. And don't hesitate to shoot those insights inside the comments. And I will see you very soon with another video.